are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic hour of Leverage Your Score, where your host, Tyrone Glover, coming to you live from Yonkers, New York. I want to welcome you to the program. Thank you so much, as always, for giving me part of your Tuesday so that we can help you leverage your score and bring you to that next place of your financial understanding where you can prosper. This is a nation of prosperity, and unfortunately, too many of us are not finding our way throughout the streets, avenues, whatever it is that you want to call it. We're not finding our way correctly. And this show, along with other shows on this fantastic network, are designed to help you with navigating through some of these treacherous waters. We need us as people to get away from the shame and the blame game. We are too busy pointing fingers at ourselves, pointing fingers at others, and really not understanding what the process itself really truly means and how do we make better decisions? Not find, because finding, again, I keep telling my students all the time, do we find time? Because if you're still trying to find time, please let me know, because I want to invest in how you find time. I know that you have to make time for certain things, but I would really love to know how people find the time to do what it is that they need to do. My name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the dress down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. As you will see, you will always see me in some type of dress down garb, because I did for 30 years. I worked corporate America, gave corporate America blood, sweat, and tears, gave corporate America a good percentage of my life to find out that corporate America is one of the biggest schemers, one of the shystiest entities out there. And it's really, really sad. But now that I've navigated my way past that, again, not going to say horrible experience, but it was a very unpleasant experience. But it did teach me a lot about what I needed to know. I had the opportunity of working for 19 companies. And I'm not going to say they were all great. I'm not going to say they were all splendid. I'm not going to say they were all, but they were companies. They were companies that I felt, some of them Fortune 500s, I felt that they could have did much better. But I get it. Business is about its bottom line. Business is about its bottom line, and it's going to do what it needs to do to protect that bottom line. It doesn't matter who it walks on, steps over, whatever it's going to do, it's going to do what it needs to do. But with that being said, I hope that those of you who tune in on Tuesdays, those of you who tune into one of my favorite, wonderful people in the whole wide world, Dr. Yana B's show, Access Wealth Nation, on Thursdays at the same time frame, you're going to pick up some gems. You're going to pick up some real gold nuggets that are going to help you with, again, number one, confronting the fear. Number two, getting out your way. And number three, resolving some of your very issues that have been plaguing you for, again, whether it be a couple of months, whether it be for a couple of years, whether it be a decade, whether it be even a couple of decades. They've been in your way and you have yet to find solutions. here are these shows that are doing it for you. And before I continue, as I was talking about my good friend, Dr. Yana B, Dr. Yana B's got this fantastic book. And I want the other one, Doc. I want the other one. Send me the one for the women so I can promote that one as well. But Dr. Yana B's got this awesome book out. It's called How Money Works. I talk about it so much, how money works. You need to know how your money works. Too many of us, and I'm going to pose this question. I hope somebody can answer it for me. But do you work for money? And a lot of you out there are like, yeah, because my students say the same thing. Of course I work for money. Somebody gives me money all the time. Unfortunately, you do not work for money. Your money should be working for you. We have to stop being played like a sucker. And I love when Dr. Yana says, when you go to the bank, that's why they have them suckers up there, them lollipops. And it never resonated to me because I used to always go in the Chase and grab me the purple one because that's the grape ones, and I love the grape ones. My nephew used to want the strawberry ones. But again, never dawned on me until somebody put it in writing. All right, get this book. If you need a copy, reach out to Soul City Network. Reach out to Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, Access Wealth Nation on Thursdays. Please get you a copy. Understand that you don't work for money and money should be working for you. Now, the great part of this book is that there's a part 2, and it's specifically designed towards women. We know women do a lot of shopping. I missed being able to do an actual live program for Women's Month. Now that we are in April, but before I do that, I want to thank all the beautiful, talented, wonderful, amazing women out there who have done what they do and continue to keep doing what they're doing. Dr. Yana B is one of those women. Jasmine Pfeiffer is another one of those women who, again, make me look great because of what they do to keep this show in its way and in its ability that it's doing. But all of you, every single last one of you, amazing, beautiful, talented, wonderful, superior women. That's the reason why God gave y'all the ability to carry individuals around for 9 months. Because if he had given that to a man, trust me, we had been whining, complaining, the B word, we'd have been doing all of it because, oh my Lord, how? But women do it almost flawlessly and with that love and that care, that nurturing. So I have to thank every single woman on the face of the planet for your grace, your understanding. I honor you, I bow to you, and I give you nothing but the praise that you are rightfully deserving of. So happy belated Women's Month to all of you amazing women out there. But continue to keep striving, continue to keep driving, continue to keep letting men know that you belong in the spaces where decisions are being made. You belong in these spaces where decisions are being made. And it's a travesty that you're going through what you're going through with the Roe v. Wade overturning and with a lot of these reproductive rights issues that are being eroded. I'll pray to God that one day we will find our common sense and be able to get past all of this nonsense. So with that being said, let's dive into the program and get this party started. What are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about what is predatory lending. What is predatory lending? Now, again, think about anything that is in the jungle. Think about anything that is in the wild. Predator and you have a prey. All right. The predators are the individuals that, or the things that take advantage of. All right. They just take advantage of. And predatory lending has been around for some time, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse with inflation, with interest rates, with all of these things that have deviated from the normal practices of what best practices in business should have been like. Well, again, I'm telling you, there's a lot of activity going on out there. And if you are unprepared, if you are unaware, if you are someone who has not been paying attention, you need to start paying attention. You need to start paying attention. So unraveling predatory lending. Essential insights you should have. You need to know about these things. Once you do, you'll get comfortable. It might seem a little bit uncomfortable at first, but once you start pouring into, and we need to make time for these things. Stop attempting to find. I was talking to some of my students today, and I tell them I do things in about 20 to 30-minute increments, and then I take an hour off. So that means if I have a project to do, I'm going to focus 20, 30 minutes into making sure that I get that project done. And after I move on with that project, I take a nice hour break because I want my mind free and clear from whatever it is that next project is going to be. And it's been working so far. I'm catching up on a lot of things that I had put into a lot of things that I had neglected. And I'm seeing that my time is now coming back to me. So with that process, it was just something that has been working for me. And I'm hoping that you also can learn from that. Chunk things out. Don't try to engulf it all into one situation. Chunk it out. And just like this, chunk it out. Put it into small pieces and watch yourself strive largely by making those small steps. So again, essential insights you should have when it comes to predatory lending. All right, so some of the topics that we're going to be talking about today: unmasking predatory lending, what you need to know, the introduction, the dangers of predatory lending, the predatory tactics, testimonies, predatory lending in the mortgage industry, which again, shameful, okay? Shameful. Any type of predatory understandings are shameful because that means somebody is being taken advantage of. And the more you know, the more you can prevent these things from happening. Predatory lending, red flags, predatory tactics, stay vigilant, varieties of predatory lendings, case studies, and one can say whatever they want to say about this bank, but Wells Fargo. Okay, Wells Fargo, I don't know why they're still operating. I don't know why the federal government still allows for this bank to continue to keep doing or operating in the manner in which it's operating. It's closed down just in the last 2-3 years. So many banks. You've heard about those bank closures over there on the West Coast, Silicon Valley. There was another one, I can't quite remember the name, but just in the last 2 to 5 years, banks have been closed by the federal government. But yet this monstrosity of a vicious, horrible, disgusting bank still continues to keep operating. And I do not understand. Do not understand. And I need somebody to make it abundantly clear to me why we are still giving them the abilities to do what they do. It's shameful. It's shameful. Wells Fargo, shameful. All right, subprime lending, economic impact, shielding yourself from predatory lending, verify lending licenses, be cautious of promises. Take your time, watch for excessive interest rates and fees, scrutinize your documents, conclusion, Q&A, and then a huge thank you. But I'm going to thank you clearly beforehand because I'm greatly appreciative and humbled at the fact that I get to do what I do every Tuesday and also on Saturdays at the Yonkers Public Library. So if you can't catch us here, I hope you can come and catch us on our Saturday shows at the Yonkers Public Library. So what is predatory lending? As per debt.org, and I get a lot of my information from a variety of different sources, and I always like to put the sources out there because if I verify them, you should verify me by also going back and verifying those sources. But I would tell everybody, don't just believe what's coming out of my pie hole. Don't believe every word coming out of my pie hole. Do your homework as well, okay? Prepare yourself as well. I'm going to give you the information, and that should be sufficient. But I always tell everybody, get out there and prepare yourself as well. Do your homework because if I might get it wrong, but I can tell you right now, and I'm going to shoot for the highest score possible, but about 96% of the information that I'm giving you, spot on. Spot on. Yes, I said I was going to shoot for the highest score possible, but about 96% of the information that I'm giving you, because guess what? No one has challenged me. Equifax, TransUnion, Experian have yet to challenge me. Courts have yet to challenge me. Law firms, yet no one. Banks, no one has yet to say, well, wait a minute. Maybe we need to correct this young man. Maybe we need to make sure that his information that he's putting out there is correct. It's correct. It's correct. I've watched and witnessed individuals go into court and successfully put down lawyers, put them in their place, because the majority of these lawyers who are arguing certain understandings about loans and interest rates and things of that nature that might end up in a court, guess what? They're just general practitioners. That's all they are. They're laughable individuals who have now found a way to add more resources to their coffers. That's all it is. Laughable. If they can settle for you with limited information, then you definitely can win a case with more information. We need to get smarter, folks. We need to stop playing prey to the predators. Maybe we need to become a predator ourselves against the predators. All right, so predatory lending encompasses any lending practice that imposes unjust or exploitative loan terms on a borrower. It extends to actions that manipulate and coerce a borrower into agreeing to unfavorable terms through deceit, coercive, exploitative, my apologies, or unethical means of for a loan that the borrower neither requires, desires, nor can afford. Predatory lending inherently favors the lender while disregarding or obstructing the borrower's capacity to repay the debt. Frequently, these lending strategies exploit a borrower's lack of knowledge, hence what we had just said, regarding loans, terms, and financial matters. Lack of knowledge. Knowledge is power, folks. And if you can't get them on your own, then you need to start seeking out willing participants who can help you with making sure that you are on the right path to solving whatever that financial concern may be. And basically any concern. I did a show a couple of weeks back on mental health and finance. You'd be surprised how these two are intertwined. Predatory lending often aims their schemes at marginalized groups, including minorities, the financially disadvantaged, seniors, and those with low levels of education. Let's talk about that again. The marginalized communities. So we know we live in a country that is supposedly the greatest country on the face of the planet, but yet we still have about 60 to 70% of our population living in conditions that are unimaginable, financially unimaginable, that some of us don't even have $400 or $1,000 in their bank account for an emergency. That again, for me, is unconscionable. But yet we still need to make sure that our governments, meaning our elected officials, are doing what they need to be doing. And if they're not, then again, this is not a political show. We got to start putting them people to the pasture. We got to start making sure that those individuals are no longer addressing our concerns. All right, the financially disadvantaged. I keep saying this over and 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 over, and I still have not received an answer from those boards of educations, from those departments of educations, from these elite establishments that have yet to be able to come across and tell me, why is it? I'm going to ask this question again. Why is it that we have failed and have removed financial literacy from the K through 12 preparatory stage? Somebody's got to help me answer that question. Somebody. There's got to be people out there who are smarter than me that can answer this question successfully so that I can go, oh, you know what? Yeah, I get it. Now that makes sense. Because it doesn't make sense. Why we still to this day do not even give enough of this information to our college students. We're sending children into the world. We're sending young adults into the world with zero understanding of how money works. Zero. We are now in 2023, 2024, 2025. There's going to be a new generation. I talk about generational wealth all the time. Wealth is being passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. If you are not wealthy now, you probably will have the ability to get rich. But that wealth is going to have to start with one of these generations of being passed down from one generation to the next generation. Until that happens, guess what, folks? You'll never be where you want to be unless we decide that we have to start helping the financially disadvantaged. We have to start making sure that our seniors who have given so much, living on fixed incomes, still working at 70, there's something wrong with that picture. There's something wrong with that picture. And those with low levels of education. And I can't, again, keep saying it over and over and over. Our preparatory stage should, at kindergarten, start introducing money. penny, nickel, dime, quarter, dollar, $5, $10. We should be looking at these understandings and better preparing our kids so that when they do reach that high school level, they'll have some consciousness of. When they do reach that college level, they'll have some consciousness of. When they do reach that working environment, they will have some conscientious of. And also, I'm now reaching out to employers. How is it that you would allow an individual to work for you, man your registers, but yet don't know much about their own earnings statement? Why we are so engaged in making sure that we get these bodies that we, again, expendable bodies, because we live in a lot of states that are at-will states. California just raised this fast food minimum wage to $20. I was hearing all kinds of lunacy coming over the airwaves, laughable stuff. There was a lady, and again, I love women. I praise them every single day. I give them nothing but the highest of reward that they are entitled to have. But this young lady, she got 20 McDonald's, 20, and was complaining that her small business would not be able to meet that $20. Well, I'm here to tell you, sorry, lady. I'm here to tell you, sorry. Anybody, you got a problem? Call Tyrone. You can't figure it out? Call Tyrone, a 30-year professional in corporate America, 19 different companies. Call me if you can't figure out how to make sure that your workers not only get that $20, but they also get full insurance to go with whatever employment level that you are bringing them into. Call Tyrone if you can't figure it out, because a lot of y'all are just being greedy. The greed in this country is deplorable. But that's just me, and I don't want to get on a rant, but hey, we need to do better. They're also exploiting individuals facing urgent financial needs, such as medical expenses, home repairs, or vehicle payments. We hit those who have been hit the hardest. We hit those who have been hit the hardest, and we just keep hitting, and we keep hitting, and we keep hitting, and we keep hitting, and we keep looking towards whom to resolve this. Congress? Congress can barely get its head out of its own rectum. My apologies, but they can't. We got elected officials who've been in offices for 30, 20 years. And we keep forgetting that that was never the intent of public service. Public service was supposed to be that 2-year term, 4-year term, 6-year term. You might have did that twice, and you were supposed to scurry off into the wilderness and live out your life. But we got individuals who are doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. And this is why we don't get things accomplished or don't get things done. Because the same individuals who keep calling their colleague on the other side their dear colleague. How is somebody your dear colleague that undermines every move that you are making to try to help those in marginalized situations? All right. Additionally, they target borrowers with credit issues or those experiencing recent job losses. Although not always unlawful, the tactics employed by predatory lending can result in devastating consequences for victims, including damaged credit, overwhelming debt, and even homelessness. Again, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about this particular issue right here. The only way that we resolve it is talking about it. The other way that we navigate past it is by doing something about it. Other than that, it stays a focal point, and guess what? Never changes. Predatory lending gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and those of us in these types of situations where our money is not making it from day to day or paycheck to paycheck, well, again, I'm giving you some concrete ways of being able to navigate around that so that you can find the peace and solace that you're looking for. All right, so be part of ending predatory lending in America. All right, don't swim with the sharks. Borrowing from the wrong people, and you've borrowed trouble. Protect your family, your credit rate, and your home by defending yourself against predatory lending. If you have to go to court, take that day off. I know it's challenging. You do not want things to have to go to your employer. You do not want things in an at-will state where they can fire you at will to end up in front of a judge or a court or anything in that regard. You want to get in front of it prior to it happening. And if you do that, I'm telling you right now, you'll be able to find the peace that you're looking for. It's a language, folks. And a lot of us don't speak that language because it's a business language. All right? It's a business language. And we have to do better at understanding the business language. When we do understand the business language, guess what happens? When we understand the business language, guess what happens? We start getting the peace. We start finding the resolutions and the resolve, my apologies, to navigate through some of these challenges. Right? Introduction, predatory lending, unjust practices, exploitative loan terms. All right, so these are things that you need to know. Victims trapped in unequal agreements. How do you get into an unequal agreement? By not knowing. That's how you get into an unequal agreement, by not knowing. Highlighting the dark spectrums of predatory lending tactics. So this is what we're going to be doing in this particular session, and I hope that you're taking some notes. If you want, I'll be more than happy to send these slides to you if you have any questions. And if you have questions, just drop those into the question area. I'm also equally on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm bouncing around to see if you guys are there and if a question does pop up or arise. All right. All right, so the dangers of predatory lending, drawing parallels to natural predators. All right, exploiting the financial vulnerabilities of borrowers, zeroing in on marginalized communities and susceptible individuals when exploiting for affordable down payment options. All right, dangers of predatory lending. So there you have it right there. Telling you a lie on your application, hard selling only the benefits, putting you in a lots of pressure, promising you ultra low rates, and then bombasting you with biased ads. We have to do better. Don't find yourself in a situation where you're just buying into whatever it is somebody tells you. Do not. Because if you do, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to turn out well. It's not. It's not. If you have to reach out to someone, you now have a fighting partner. You now have a willing participant that is in that corner that wants to make sure that whatever financial decisions that you're making are going to be in your best interest. If the lender is making out, which they're going to do that anyway, but they shouldn't be making out with you almost jeopardizing everything. That's not how that agreement is supposed to work. And that's not even nowhere near close to a best practice. So please be careful. Right? Predatory tactics affecting individuals, span minorities, low income, right? Earners, seniors, and those with limited educational backgrounds. These are the targets. Right? These are the targets. Low income individuals, marginalized communities, seniors, and those with limited educational background, our children. Again, some of us are adults, no question about it, because we are too fearful and too proud to get out of our own way to ask someone, hey, you know what? I'm going through it. How is there something that you can assist me with? A lot of us think when we say assistance, that means that we coming out of pocket and we giving up that bread. No, information is assistance as well. All right. Exploiters capitalizing on financial crisis of urgent cash required post-COVID-19. Small businesses, proprietary emerged as subprime targets. So the what I'm more or less referring to there is that post-COVID-19, small businesses were targeted. They were targeted. They knew that they were in a crunch. They knew that the economy had slowed down. They knew that they were locked in and forced to, again, continue to keep paying their workers. If they were decent individuals, they still did what they needed to do. But then they found themselves, as things came back around, they found themselves now in a crunch, just like our individuals in Maryland there, where that Francis C. Scott, where that Francis C. Scott bridge collapsed. And now you got one side saying one thing and another side saying something else. I mean, come on, people, really? We help, we assist, we give to those who have been put in harm's way. For what reasons? We got to do better, folks. We have to do better. Allowing predatory lenders to keep thriving, well, you can clearly see why. Because somebody is invested in that company. And it's sad to have to say it, that our congressional leaders primarily, and it's sad to have to keep saying it, but primarily, they should have never been able to invest. They should have never gotten into that space. If they were going to be civil servants, they should have divested their interests so that they can go in and they can do the people's work. But unfortunately, too many of them have their hands in those coffers that they themselves have said, well, we're going to hopefully maybe regulate. Predatory lending in the mortgage industry. Predatory tactics extended into the mortgage sector. Profits stems from loans as well as sales of foreclosed properties. It's again, every time I read more and more and think about how individuals over the course of our existence that have been taken advantage of, lost their homes, lost their jobs, lost their lives, their means of being able to, all because of something that should never and should be eradicated. Should have never been put into existence, but it's here. It's right in front of us, and it's confronting all of us, so many of us. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Government regulators facing challenges in curbing predatory lending across diverse forms. They can do much better, but they're choosing not to. Predatory lending red flags, things to watch out for. While definitions may prompt debate, certain practices are undeniably exploitative. Undeniably exploitative. But yet they're still able to do what they need to do. They're still able. You go into a courthouse today, and it's pretty sad. You go into a courthouse today, and you got a judge who sits on a pedestal. You got a lawyer who, again, on the opposite side, because you might be a pro se litigant or you might even have a lawyer, but those two lawyers, again, it's mind shattering, not mind blowing. It's mind shattering that a lawyer on the side of a so-called purchased debt and an individual who, again, is doing their best to make sure that they keep their head above water are now going back and forth. And this lawyer on that other side, again, zero knowledge. The majority of the lawyers that I've had the ability of talking to or getting information from or arguing a particular situation found out that they are just as oblivious can possibly be. Oblivious. And it's pretty sad. But yet you got a judge who won't listen to, and again, I will say it, will not listen to, for whatever their reasons or their biases. And a lot of those biases and reasons are, well, you're not a lawyer, sir. Well, of course I'm not a lawyer. I'm a pro se litigant, which means I get the same amount of respect as a lawyer. But you who sits on that pedestal with the black robe, you can't see past your whatever it is that you can't see past. These include insufficient or misleading disclosures, pricing based on risk, excessive fees, and charges. It's again sad. And this is these are red flags that you should be watching out for. Additionally, warning signs comprise loan packaging, loan flipping, asset-based lending, and reverse lending. So there's a lot of things that we have to be paying attention to, a lot. And as I said, if you are unsure, if you still need some guidance, if you still need some help after this show, please reach out. Please reach out to Soul City Network. Please reach out to our sister programming or sister channels as well, which is we are on Facebook and we're on YouTube. You got the information out there, and all we want to do is make sure that you are up to date. Up to date. All right, so predatory tactics, stay vigilant. Stay on your P's and Q's, inadequate or false disclosures, risk-based pricing, inflated fees and charges, loan packing, loan flipping, asset-based lending, reverse redlining, balloon mortgages, negative amortization, abnormal prepayment penalties, mandatory arbitrations, loan crunching, repayment penalties. All of these things tie into the predatory realm in space in which we need to stay vigilant about. Because if we do, guess what? We will not become a victim to it. All right, variety of predatory loans. Predatory lenders mask their intentions before striking. All right, we got a lot of that going on today. We got a lot of that going on today. Well, they'll tell you all of the hype, all get you so excited. And then come time for paper signing, and you're now under pressure. So now you're going to sign anyway because you're under pressure. And then you're going to find yourself in a worse off situation than you thought. Frequent varieties include payday loans, auto title loans, settlement or subprime mortgages. Again, some things that you should be looking out for. If you're being offered these as a potential solution, you might want to double check. You might want to get a second opinion. Each type carries its own risk, own set of risk and repercussions. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please do not find yourself in these predicaments knowing that there are solutions out there. And all you have to do is pick up the phone, text, email. You got somebody now that's a partner in your corner. You got a whole network that is doing what it needs to do to make sure that you have what you need to have so that you cannot find yourselves in the crosshairs of these predatory lenders. So here's some case study for you. Case study, Wells Fargo settlement. Predatory lending camouflaged their motives before striking. So Wells Fargo definitely. Common forms encompasses, again, payday lending, auto title loans, and statements or settlements and subprime mortgage. This is what Wells Fargo has been doing. And I still keep saying it over and over and over. How is it that this entity, this financial entity, is still able to operate with impunity and getting away with some of the most egregious things? And I don't understand. Yeah, they've been back since, and that's why, again, Wells Fargo, you think about their horse and buggy carriage or the wagon. So they've been back since the 1700s, 1600s. I guess they were probably one of the first banks. So that's the reason why that I guess maybe we give them this liberty. Well, just like they closed Washington Mutual, guess what they need to do with Wells Fargo? They need to close that one down too. I know we have a couple of banks out there that are bigger than any institutions on the face of the planet, but guess what? We can break this one up too. Stop going after Apple government and close down some of these financial institutions that are really doing more harm. Stop going after the little guy who's really, again, only attempting to do what they can do to make ends meet when you should really be going after these sharks. All right, so subprime credit loans, usually offered by rates well above the prime rate, made to borrowers with poor credit ratings. All right, come on, people, really? There's a product out there called a subprime credit, and it's made only to borrowers with poor credit ratings. Borrowers with poor credit ratings, you should be thinking about that. There's nothing that important that you need to put yourself in harm's way. There's no car, there's no house, there's no vacation, there's no credit card. There's nothing out there. From someone who's a credit guy, there's nothing out there that should be forcing you to do the most egregious things when it comes to your financial understanding. There's nothing. There's nothing out there. Spending more time on getting educated probably would be your best route, your best way of going about things. That's going to help you with making sure that you're not finding yourselves in situations which you don't want to be in. All right, subprime mortgages, a mortgage issued to borrowers with low credit ratings. Again, right? You really have to start thinking about what is it that you want. Subprime offerings, again, subprime mortgage and economic impacts, subprime offerings, subprime products were instrumental in the 2008 economic downturn. Instrumental. We came back from it, but it was one heck of a ride. There's a resurgence in auto loan markets featuring high interest rates. Again, high. You're buying cars at 20%, 23%, 18, 15. That's insane. That's insane. They have now auto loans that take you up to 84 months. Really? That's crazy. Stop putting yourself in these predicaments thinking that you're helping yourself when in all actuality, you're hurting yourself. Because as soon as you miss that one payment, as soon as you miss that second payment, you're going to have somebody knocking at your door. And they're not even letting you get to. They're hitting you up at 30 days. Some of you out there who can verify that your credit card offers or your credit card amount has now been reduced because you may have had some past issues. What you're going to do, folks, take this information, use it for what it's worth, and better your situations. All right. Shielding yourself from predatory lending. Tips for safeguarding yourself without requiring legal expertise. Understand your financial limits. Just that simple. Understand where you are, how much money comes in, what debts do you have to take care of before you even think about, do I need a car? Do I need a new apartment? Am I ready and willing to start a family now? Think about these things prior to. Now, there are some unexpected situations that do arise, but do I have the capital that would be able to hold me over if I have to leave a job? Seek reputable sources. Tyrone Glover, who's been doing this for about 20 plus, is a reputable source. Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, who's been doing it way longer than I have in a variety of other spaces, is a reputable source. Antonio Kenyatta, who's a fiduciary, one of my dearest friends, is a reputable source. I'm sure there are other experts and other fantastic individuals out there who are reputable, but do your homework and make sure that they understand your circumstance and they're going to be working for your benefits, not for their own pockets. Compare interest rates, terms, and fees from different lenders. I still am baffled when I ask someone, hey, did you ever call your credit card company? You've been with them for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Well, I've never called to ask my interest rate. What? You've never called your partner in your financial space. You've never called that partner and said, hey, you know what? I'm reconsidering or I'm thinking about. What do you think? You've never picked up that phone and made that type of understanding. You do it in your relationships. So why not do it in your financial relationships as well? Picking up those phones. This is a homework assignment for everybody out there. You unhappy with your interest rates? Well, guess what? You need to call your credit card companies, call your mortgage, call them all. Stay on them phones. Make it a part of your monthly obligations that you will reach out to your lenders and you will not beg them. You will tell them, we're going to have to work on reducing these interest rates. They may give you the runaround. And guess who's giving you the runaround? It's that first employee. It's that one who is the customer service agent. And again, not here bashing anyone, not here tearing anyone down, but that customer service agent, guess what? They have limited knowledge too. All right. So what they're telling you is so far-fetched, and the majority of them are reading a script. All right, but if I guarantee if you could talk to the CEO, because they're making billions, hundreds of billions, the profits that companies have made over the course of since COVID has been in the 2-point-something trillions. Right? And they can't find it in their hearts of hearts to lower your interest rates. They can't find it in their hearts of hearts to make sure that you are on the pathway to financial success. But you want to stay a willing participant and a partner with someone who already devalues the relationship that you yourself have more or less given to them. I think there's something wrong with that picture. Something wrong with that picture. Recognize predatory practices. They're giving you a lot of information, and recognize that these predatory practices are there and they're there to hurt you. They're not there to help you. They're there to hurt you. Excessive caution when dealing with these types of loans. Adjustable rate mortgages. It's called the ARM. With initial teaser rates. Right? Interest-only loans, extended term loans, even if they offer fixed rates. So again, these are just some things to look for if you are having this conversation and these items come up. Once you start hearing them, that means put the brakes on. Can you explain that? Can you elaborate a little bit more? Can you go into detail? If it doesn't sound right, if it smells like it's like a skunk, it walks like a skunk or a duck or whatever, however that expression goes, then that's exactly what it is. Once somebody, and I like this one the best, once somebody shows you their color, you don't necessarily have to keep going back to that crayon box to get another color. All right, verify lending licenses. Right, ensuring that the lender holds proper licensings is critical. Now, the credit game itself, it doesn't require that someone has to go to a formal school and get all of these certifications. You just have to be a knowledgeable, smart individual. I've been telling all of my friends, and again, I'm not here to bash. I'm not here to get on any industry whatsoever. But if you want to challenge my knowledge, please, by all means, those industries that I've already called out, but certified financial planners. Okay, certified financial planners. I have questions with you guys as well. The ones who are doing it on the up and making sure that their consumer is taken care of, I bow to you. I give you nothing but the highest of praise. But those of you who are out there exploiting, taking advantage of, you need to be held accountable to your malfeasance. Right? Excessive caution regarding unsolicited offers received via mail, phone calls, or door-to-door solicitation. Now, I know I'm getting a heck of a lot of calls from an 805 number. Now, I ain't been in California for a good minute now. And I'm still shocked at how many 805 numbers that I get. I picked up a couple of them today, and it seems like it's the same Indian type of individual. Again, nothing against any race, nothing against any ethnic group that's doing what it's doing because they need jobs too. But it seems like I'm getting the same call from the same type of company where I've already put my name and my phone number on a do not call, but I still keep getting these calls over and over and over and over and over and over. I'm talking about some 5 to 6, maybe even 10 times a day. And if you're getting the exact same thing, I think that's another reason why we need to reach out to our elected officials and say, hey, I thought y'all was working on things. I thought you had a do not call register for these very moments or this very situation. Right? We need to be more vigilant, and we need to be partners in making sure that we resolve these issues. Partners, willing participants who are willing to help others in need. All right, so I'm already extending my hand to you. I'm already giving you all of what I can, not all, but as much as that brain can consume so that you can find the solace, the peace of mind that you're looking for as we navigate through some of these challenging times, as we navigate through some of these unexpected situations that we're being confronted with. We got an election coming up here, folks. We have an election coming up here. And me personally, I don't care who you vote for. I just want you to vote. Your voice matters and your vote matters. I do not care who you vote for, but you know what you should be doing. Don't be voting for the individual because you like the personality or they speak their mind. You need to be starting to listen and loving the policies that are going to benefit your bottom line, not just your bottom line for the next week or for the next year, but you still got individuals who are going to be coming up after you. If you decide to have families, do your decisions today, will that affect them later on? You still have nephews and nieces, which I have an abundance of. And I know that the individual that I'm going to be voting for, I know that that individual has said he wants to be the president of all America. Not the one who said that they want to be a dictator for a day. All right, so be careful, folks. Be careful. Not only is it predatory in your lending, it's also predatory in your voting. Be careful, folks. All right, be cautious of promises. And I always love to call America the country of promises made and promises barely kept. So I understand why individuals are mad and upset. Mad and upset, but you're mad and upset at the wrong individual and you're mad and upset at the wrong party. Okay, you're mad and upset at the wrong individual and you're mad and upset at the wrong party. All right, there's a party out there that has been doing what it needs to be doing to make sure that we have the benefits and the securities. And there's another side out there that is all about its bottom line and its pockets. And they're going to continue to keep dismantling and taking apart the very structures that have been put in play so that we would have some stability. It's up to you, folks. What do you want? All right. Obtain a copy, or excuse me, be cautious when offered a loan, regardless of your credit history. There's a lot of car companies out there. Oh, now they're not even doing credit checks now. So what kind of hoopty are you going to get? What kind of lemon are you going to get? Yeah, you might be in a state where they have lemon laws, but imagine going through the hassle. And a lot of us don't like that direction of processes to begin with. We will come out of pocket so that we don't have to confront someone when that's what we should be doing. You sold me something that hadn't cut the mustard, then guess what? You're on the hook for it now. And you have to do your due diligence. It's not about getting mad. It's not about getting upset. It's not about getting angry, because getting mad, upset, and angry only leads to more problems. We need to be more conscientious. We need to be more understanding, and we need to know the business that we're dealing with. That's the understanding that I'm talking about, knowing the business. But if you have done your homework prior to, guess what? You're not going to find yourself in a situation where you now have to go back and try to fight for your very own rights that you had prior to. All right. Obtain a copy of your credit report and assess your eligibility carefully. Know where you are. If you're at 500, don't try to go out there and get that car. All right. You can get it, but what is a $1,700 payment going to do to you? Okay, $1,700 with a 500 credit score. Yes. Or you're going to get something that's not going to make it past week 1 or week 2 because they glued it together. They put and spackled it, whatever it is that they needed to. They polished it nicely. They vacuumed it out. They made sure that it looked presentable. But yeah, you get on the road, you try to go up a highway or down a byway, and guess what? It starts falling apart. So now you got to reach out to AAA or whatever emergency roadside assistance to now fix a problem that you should have never gotten yourself into in the beginning. A credit card. Again, educating our children on credit cards. I had a great conversation earlier today with you. Which product should we be using? I know a lot of individuals out there may even say, oh, credit. But if you educate someone on it, guess what? They won't have that problem. If they have a trusted resource to constantly keep going back to when there's a new credit situation that comes up, you'll never have those problems. Everybody should understand your credit is a rocket ship. It is not a roller coaster. And this is what I look forward to when I get the opportunity, hopefully, to go to Washington and speak more eloquently about this, which I speak eloquent about it anyway, but to speak to those legislators and give them a little bit of what they should be doing to protect us all. Protect us all. Black, Hispanic, white, Asian, Middle Eastern. It does not matter your ethnic group. It matters that you are a United States citizen. And this country should be doing by every citizen. And in the financial space, you can trust me when I tell you, Tyrone Glover is going to be doing right by every citizen. It doesn't matter. You're a Trumper. I don't care. You need help too because you're a Trumper, because you're so disillusioned by what has been going on. You think I, as a black man, have taken what you were supposed to have. I didn't take what you were supposed to have, because if I took what you were supposed to have, then it wasn't actually meant for me. You and I were never in the same space when I got what I needed for myself. But as I stated, this is a conversation that will continuously be had. Broken promises. Predatory lending exploits. Okay, take your time. Predatory lending exploits confusion. Borrowers must meticulously review all documents and consider seeking professional guidance. Now, that professional guidance can come from a CPA. It can come from someone who's been in that space, who has all the qualifications and the certifications that are required for those particular industries. But it can also come from an individual like myself who just said, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that there are individuals out there who have more than enough knowledge to do what we need to do to make sure that our individuals are okay. So if there are any nonprofit organizations out there that are seeking a smart, intelligent, articulate, well-rounded, based individual on facts, not fictions and not feelings, y'all need to be thinking about calling Tyrone. If there are businesses out there that want their employees to be much better than they are today, and I know we got some great employees out there. We got some fantastic employees. We got a great workforce. But we want to make them greater. Let's focus on making sure that their financial stability is part of your best practices when it comes to your business. Unions. I've had the opportunity of working with 5 unions. 5 unions who are, again, in my opinion, have done everything in their power to create tiers, to create or to go against the very word of what their organization stands for, which is to unite. And they've tiered things so that it takes care of those up here, but yet forget about those who are down here. Watch for excessive interest rates and fees. Be mindful of interest rates surpassing 30%. Borrowers ought to explore various options to secure the most favorable rates on mortgages and loans. The most favorable. That means if you have to turn it down, turn it down. And then go find somebody who you can talk to that can help you increase whatever it is that you need to increase before you put yourself into a predatory situation. Scrutinize your documents. It's critical not to sign documents with blank spaces. Borrowers should consider seeking advice from a trusted friend or an attorney before proceeding. All right, some key points, takeaways. Empower individuals to stay vigilant against predatory lending practices. Promote financial education and raise awareness. These 2 things alone will save you thousands, if not hundreds, or tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. We need to be more understanding about the things that we do not understand. We need to be more patient instead of rushing into situations that are only going to backfire and create more problems. If we do, I'm telling you, everything's going to work out. It's going to work out. I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from my own experience, from consumers that I've always been able to help. And I'm here to tell you, my success rate is really good. It's really, really good. All right. So I always open up the floor to some Q&A, but I've been popping in and out, looking to see if there was some opportunities to answer a question. I want to thank everybody who joins in or who comes back at a later time frame to review or to catch up on some of these past shows. So thank you so much for giving me part of your Tuesday. And here's my contact information. You can reach me at 805-428-9424. You can email me at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. And you can also find me on our website, which is Linktree, while our new website is being created. Follow, share, that is Linktree at Leverage Credit Recovery. Follow, share, and this is what our Linktree looks like. All right. If you're on our Linktree, this is exactly what you need to see. And if you see this, then you are absolutely at the right spot. I want to thank you so much for giving me part of your Tuesday, part of your week. I want to welcome you into April, which is April is Financial Literacy Month. Again, I want to extend my heartfelt thank you to all of the beautiful, talented, wonderful, amazing women out there. Stay strong. There's a Black man who is in your corner and will always be in your corner. Happy belated Women's History Month. Love you all, everyone. Please stay safe, America.